Holy cow.
Henry over at Mowers and Blowers.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Good morning. Welcome to another episode. So I've heard that they said, I'm still trying to figure out who they are, but they did say that ashes from your fireplace make for good nutrients and iron for the soil on your lawn. And instead of throwing out your ashes, you should spread them on your lawn. So it's about to rain today, so I cleaned out my fireplace that has 3 years worth of winter burning wood. I didn't burn all that much, so this is the extent of it. So instead of just chucking this in the garbage, I'm gonna go mow my front lawn and my rear lawn, and I'm gonna spread this out. I've done it before. I couldn't really tell whether or not it did anything or not, but they say it provides excellent nutrients for your lawn. When I was done doing it before, I did try it, I was all gray because taking my hand and spreading it out like that, if you put it in a spreader, it doesn't really work because it doesn't come out, but it's so light and fine. I'm gonna try a different strategy this time. Guess you gotta dump it in the direction that the wind is blowing away from you. Obviously, didn't really work. Let's see how this works. So I spread out the ashes with the blower. Let's see if this lawn looks good this spring or summer with the ashes. Now I have to go mow the rear lawn, and I'm gonna use a mower that I haven't used since I fixed it. That's right, I'm gonna mow it with my John Deere Z225. Fired right up after a month sitting there. I've run out of gas, but we'll see how far we go. Oh dear. That's not going to be the easiest thing to do. You really have no choice. You need an air compressor with a lot of swooshing power right away. Little portable small ones that trickle air into it, not going to work. This may require ratchet straps to compress the tire onto the rim. I'll try to jack it up and kind of pull the tire from the rear to the front so that the rim at least touches the sidewalls. Maybe we can get it going. Let's see what happens. Incidentally, this is the one that I used Fix-A-Flat on it, and I can see that there's some Fix-A-Flat in there. So I was lucky. You guys saw I had to use a rag and clean up the rim area that matches the bead area, because there was a lot of grass and stuff there. So you want to make sure it's a clean area so that once you do pull it and it makes the seal, that that little grass clipping is not going to interfere with the little leak of air that comes out. I also put some ATF in there while it was already off the bead. So once I roll around the yard, that ATF gets swirled around the entire tire and it'll swell the rubber, therefore creating a better seal. Also, I pumped up the rest of the tires, and while I'm here, I'll fill up the gas. I love it when a plan comes together. So yeah, I was just mowing a little bit. It was probably, the tire was really low already, and I didn't realize, and I didn't check. You always check all the tires before you start mowing. And then a couple of passes in a little corner of my yard, and all of a sudden I started to feel it rumbling like this, and I had to adjust the height, and I couldn't understand why. And then I looked down, and it was completely off the tire, which is, you know, you could damage your rim, you can damage your tire, and that's a bigger headache than, you know, just bringing it over here and pumping it up, the air pressure properly. You know, I just wanted to mow my lawn. Why do I have to do all this stuff? You know what I mean? By the way, a lot of people commented on my jack, my airbag jack. The best, honestly. It's not expensive either. Go check the link in the description where I have all kinds of VEVOR parts. You'll find the VEVOR airbag jack. Check it out. If you buy it from that link that I provide in the bottom, I get a little bit of money. Like 80 cents. Hey, 80 cents is better than nothing, right? So I had to adjust the height a few times, went over it a few times. It cuts okay. It's level, but honestly, I think the Toro 616Z zero turn cuts better. But either way, I think I'm gonna keep it. As you guys may or may not remember, I was trying to get this Kawasaki Fc420V pull start commercial lawnmower, walk behind lawnmower engine to run. Couldn't get any spark even after I changed the magneto to a newer one. I felt a jolt when I cranked it with a drill on the crankshaft, but there was no spark. So then I read about it, and the major problem is this igniter. An igniter back in those days assisted the magneto in creating the spark. Without the igniter, you can feel a jolt just from the electromagnetic field that the magnet creates with the magneto, even though I believe this is a solid state electronic ignition that doesn't require anything other than that, but perhaps it might just be a Kawasaki one that isn't. So went on eBay and I found the correct igniter. This was $11 and some change, so total $13 with tax, and it's exactly the one I need. There are ones that are just polished chrome, flat silver, whatever, but this one has the ridges, you know, like an upside down Sargent logo, chevrons, and this one has 2 tabs on it, where the other one only has 1 tab on it. So I believe this is the correct one. It looks exactly like it. You know, I figured, is it worth it to pay $13 to maybe get an engine running? Definitely. If it doesn't work, I'm out $13. But I'm sure I'll make it back by selling the flywheel on this thing and the parts associated with this Kawasaki engine, because these are pretty popular engines for commercial walk-behind mowers. I'm sure you guys know that already. So I'm just going to swap this out, man, and we'll see what happens if we get spark. If we get spark, it should run. The only reason why it didn't run before because we couldn't get any spark. But now it's just, looks like 1/2 inch to take the bracket off. Maybe I don't even have to. Maybe just I was really rusted, but this Phillips screw right here, take it off, put that back on. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to disconnect these bastards right here. Oh, you know what? It probably has to be grounded, so yeah. I'll take that off. Okay, don't strip. Don't strip. Stripping is only for people on Skid Row. Henry, you've been to a strip club before. Shh. There we go. That's the old one. Put the new one back in one. All right. So, you know, that's that. I do have to attach this part to the magneto. So, anyway, look. This is the old one. And they say this one goes bad after a while, which I can understand. It's electronic. This side of it needs to have this on it. It's already been air gapped. I'm sure removing one side is not going to make a difference. And if it rubs, we'll figure it out. All right, let's test and see if we have spark. Got my drill. No spark. It's very disappointing. So it's the oddest thing. I took the magneto kill wire and it was off. I just put it back on. It's not attached to anything. Okay? It's not attached to anything. So it shouldn't make any difference, but either way I attached it, right? Check this out. Hope you guys can see. We're getting spark. I know you guys probably can't see it because it's bright and daylight, but there's spark. So I'm going to put everything back. The cover, the pull starter thing, because if I put the spark plug back in there, right, and I used this drill to crank it, if it started, I would break my arms. You know what I'm saying? The rotation would break my wrists. So I have to do it with a pull start. Can't do it this way. This way was only used to test to see if we get spark. Okay, here's the moment of truth. I put it all together again. Choke is open. Blow some stuff in there. And close the choke now. How do you do that? Close. There we go. Has like no oil in it. Oh, good thing I checked. Check the levels later. All right, let's see if it starts. Even turn over. I just wanted to turn over. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it hard enough to get that spark. You know what I mean? Oh, no way. It's not going to work. There's no way it's going to be fast enough to create the amount of spark equivalent to using a drill. You know what I mean? That's why you need electric start for this stuff. And it doesn't seem like there's any compression. There's no way this is going to work. Just tell, it's no way. There's no way I'm going to be pulling this hard enough. I don't even feel like there's any compression really. Oh, shoot. Ooh, that's the most action we've got. We know we got spark. Wonder what causes that. A lot of fuel mixed into a chamber, then one explosion. Maybe dries up the gas that was in there. That's interesting. Ugh. I'm having like a deja vu moment. Like I'm messing with the snowmobile or something. Pulling and pulling and pulling, man. I'm too old to be doing that. So, we did get some progress. Popped a couple of times, right? Should I check the valves? Wow. They're like hand tightened. Oh, God. It's not even on there. Somebody's been in here before. This is ridiculous. It's completely off the rocker arms. There's nothing opening and closing these valves. Oh my God. Look at that butt.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. Wow.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
Well, I don't know enough about these valves to see where, if I'm not missing something. You follow what I'm saying? Like this one's not even gonna like, look at the lash in between here. It's like a pinky's worth. Okay. Alright, that's like that. That's holding it. But then this one's like a pinky's worth. Look. What's up with that? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Am I missing something? Is there supposed to be something in there, in between here, like caps or something? There's got to be something in here. Couldn't be that off. It's just impossible. Now I can't even pull it because this is at the limit or something. That's odd. Really odd. I'm gonna have to do some research on this, just to let you guys see what I'm looking at here. See? On there. I'm holding up my finger. This is on there. Look at the space. Look at the space in between here. By the way, when I was pulling it off camera, it popped again with nothing going on here. I just was pulling that thing just to see it move, and it went boom. It is moving. you connect the rods to the rocker arms. Look at the gap between the rocker arms and the valves. What, how is that possible? Of course they're not going to stay there like that. Am I missing some caps or something? It's got to be, right? Otherwise, how do you push down the valves? You know, how do you push them open with this kind of gap? So, I'm going to go do some research, and I'll see what's happening here. But we're making some kind of progress. I mean, it's popping and stuff, and we know why it's not working. Because of these. It's ridiculous. Have you guys ever seen anything like it? So it's the next day. I did a little bit of research and I pulled up the parts diagram. It doesn't look like it's missing any end caps on the valves or anything like that. So what would cause this? I have it at top dead center now. I just did it just so I can get a good measurement of things. As you can see from a top view, both bush rods are touching the rocker arms. Spark plug wire is out. Spark plug is out. I used a screwdriver to measure the piston at top dead center. And yet, look at the valves. That's like that's like half an inch. So the only thing I could think of is that the valves are stuck open. So if they're stuck open and rusted into that area, you're going to have that amount of play. So there are two things I can do. One, I can attempt to just tap these valves in and out with a hammer, just to try to jar it loose so that the spring will pull the valve out. But unless it's really rusted shut, it's not going to work. And then I would have to take the head off and bang the valve back in, take the valve out actually, and smooth out all the rust, lubricate it, and so that it moves freely. Both valves move freely. But I'm thinking both valves are stuck open. That would be the only reason why we have that kind of space in between here. I did remove both push rods, and they're not bent. And they look stock. So I think that's the only way that I could figure this out, is that I'm pretty sure that these valves are stuck open from the amount of evidence we had on water in the engine. So I'm just gonna use a punch and a hammer and lightly tap this and that, just to see if we jar a little bit of rust loose, and then the spring will pull the valve out like that, and then work it to get it smooth so that these things will seat. And obviously, if that's the problem, there's going to be a seating problem between the valves and the valve seats. You might need a valve job, which means I'd have to take apart the head anyway. But I want to see if I can jar these two valves loose and maybe see if they close or not. Ooh, look. This one came out. Ooh, that one came out. Okay, saw that? So now, if I have... So now if I put the rocker arms together with the push rods, okay, I managed to tap it some more. It popped out some more. It's probably not seating perfectly, but you never know. But now at least it has closed the distance of that ½ inch that we had, right? And now both push rods are making contact with the rocker arms, and now at least these valves are moving in and out. So a lot of moving in and out will clear up the rust because it's scraping against each other. As you can see, they're now freely moving. That was the problem. The valves were stuck open. I'm just going to do this for a bit. Keep moving them back and forth, and slowly they will grind the rust away from the valves, right? And kind of maybe, hopefully, seat. I'm going to put the spark plug back in and the ignition coil. Put the spark plug back in, connected it. It should still have some vapors in there. Ooh. Now the compression's hard. Hard to pull. I think we're making some progress though, for sure. Okay, I just eyeballed the valves a little. I got a top dead center just to see if they moved around. About 4 and 7 on the thing. Loosen the nut, tighten the center, and now they're about 4 or 7, something like that. But it was actually kind of tight on the intake. I put the spark plug back in after I adjusted the valves, rudimentary like. And it's probably not going to start because I'm pretty sure that the valves are not seating, therefore not enough compression. And that's going to be probably normal because if your valves were stuck open so badly that we had that huge gap in between both valves, the valves are probably in terrible shape, not to mention the valve seats. So this requires a valve job, which means removal of the head for sure. And I don't know. It's a pull start engine. I'll save it for when I'm really in a pinch, where I need an engine no matter what. Then maybe try to get it going. But right now, I've got too many things I got to do. I can't work on getting this thing and doing a valve job on it. So I'm gonna probably stop doing this right now because there's really no point. I don't even really want it. You know what I mean? But I was curious to see what was wrong with it and why it wouldn't start. Pretty sure the valves are not seating due to them being seized open for so long with the water and the moisture and stuff, But I'm glad I did figure out the fact that I just did not understand why there was like a 1/2 inch gap between the rocker arms and the valves. And then I thought to myself last night after looking at the diagrams, I'm like, well, the valves are stuck open. Nothing's going to push them back out again. You know what I mean? The only way they come back out again is from the tension of the springs pushing them out. But if it's stuck with rust, you have to jar that rust free for this valve to come back out again. And tapping it kind of jarred it a little bit, and as you saw, both valves came out. And so now it looks like it's right, but it's just, there's probably a lot of rust and gook between the valve itself not seating on the seat. So there's too much compression coming out, therefore you're not going to get it to start. But anyway, I'm glad that worked because I just could not figure out why there was a huge gap like that, But anyway, yeah, I mean, we're kind of close on this. The carburetor still needs to be cleaned. I threw it in an ultrasonic, but I never blew it out or anything like that. I just put it back on because I was tired of it. But it looks like, maybe we can get this going. I just have to remove the head and do a valve job on it. So in the future, the Kawasaki Fc420V will get a valve job. I'll remove the head and see if we can clean up the valves a little bit so that they seat properly. Right now, you're not getting any signs of any compression because, well, they're not seating, so a lot of air is getting out. And the fuel air is not getting isolated in one area for the spark to ignite. It's too much air, not enough combustion. So we'll put this away back there somewhere and we'll come back to it another time when we're really desperate for an engine. Hope you guys enjoyed it today. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. a year from now, I'll be thinking to myself, what was wrong with this again?
Next time on Mowers and Blowers. Later.